Pool House, a vehicle for participatory ownership.
California is in the midst of a severe housing shortage. Southern California alone has an estimated housing deficit of 800,000 units. To address this deficit, California's legislature passed State Assembly Bill 68, which allows all SFRs to add auxiliary dwelling units, known as ADUs, to the property. These units typically reside in the rear of the lot and are allowed to be as large as 1,200 square feet. With this additional new dwelling place, the backyard is transformed from private domain to semi-public shared space. Integral to our design approach is an understanding of a typical suburban community in Los Angeles, where lots are adjacent to each other and are often separated by a fence. Eschewing the age-old adage, good fences make good neighbors, we intend to tear down barriers and create micro-communities. The configuration of these communities can take many forms, with alternative layouts producing alternative sorts of social interaction. Guiding these micro-communities is the idea of participatory ownership, wherein maintaining the semi-public shared space rests on both homeowners and tenants. Pool House reaches out to the homeowners and offers to build them a secondary unit. Pool House puts up all the cost, handles the architecture, construction, and leasing. In return, Pool House receives a 10-year lease on the ADU, which allows it to sublet the ADU for a profit. During the 10-year lease, Pool House also makes monthly payments to homeowners for 10% of collected revenue. At the end of the 10-year lease, the homeowner keeps the secondary unit and can choose if they would like to retain Pool House as a property manager.
Reimagining the typical Los Angeles housing block. Los Angeles, for all of its architectural variety, still retains certain uniform qualities. Notably, the city block is one such feature. In West Adams, the typical block is comprised of an array of homes that abut one another on the sides and rear of the lot, and are otherwise separated by a two-way road. Tract 1446 is one such typical block, and will serve as the basis for the forthcoming speculation and proposal. By overlaying the building code distilled by Assembly Bill 68, we can begin to understand the potential for the individual lot, clusters of lots, and the block at large. We start by identifying the existing non-primary structures, which mostly comprise detached garages constructed in the 1950s. Imagining a clean slate, we apply an ADU setback analysis of 10 feet from any existing structures and 4 feet from the sides and rear of the lot, yielding a residual landmass of 27,000 square feet of developable land and an additional 29,000 square feet to be devoted to a new public thoroughfare. The result is the inversion of the typical city block, such that community life is centered along what had been the rear of the lot. Conscious of Los Angeles' eclectic housing aesthetics, this proposal takes aim at studying and reinterpreting many of the city's iconic styles, albeit modified for affordability and rapid production. Along with 5 unique floor plans, ranging from 1-bed, 1-bath single units to 2-bed, 1-bath adjoined townhouses, this proposal also reimagines 5 specific styles: International, Craftsman, Storybook, Colonial, and Spanish Revival. A specific element from each housing style is adapted to be generated from standard structural 1 plywood that can be rapidly produced using CNC technology. In that these elements are formed from 2-dimensional cut paths and joined by interlocking slots, the result is not a one-to-one replication of existing styles, but an approximation that signals the past while broadcasting the future, embracing a new sort of pixelated historicism. With the statutory height limit of 16 feet for 2 or more units on a lot, our strategy deploys elevational changes as a means of providing adequate overhead space on each floor. By creating a 4-foot depression in the ground, we subvert the height limit to allow for comfortable 20-foot, 2-story dwellings. Additionally, we leverage this depression in the ground as part of a larger landscape and irrigation scheme that tethers together these otherwise discrete units. The elevation change is treated as a native plant rain garden, a natural means of removing pollutants from rain runoff and providing new habitat for local flora and fauna. result of these actions is the production of a new community paradigm nestled within an old one. New housing stock gives way to more affordable prices. Smaller units facilitate the integration of different socioeconomic backgrounds. Rapid prototyping brings construction costs down while preserving the character of Los Angeles. A shared landscape builds community, recycles water, and offers much-needed green space. In conjunction, these speculations collide to produce a more equitable and sustainable vision of LA, achievable within every typical housing block.
Pool House, the Catalog 2020. The catalog creates a product for living. The catalog addresses the pool house block, yard, alley, house, and components. The back house aims to address an increasing idea surrounding the live-work house. The pool house catalog leverages architectural components to produce dynamic interaction between front and back houses throughout the neighborhood. Through participatory ownership, Pool House will facilitate a system of micro-landscapes to support this community of live-work housing. The Block. Located in the southwest corner of West Adams, the block is near the Expo line. This investigation examines the city block with an alley. Pool House will start as one house and phase into a network of backyard communal spaces that superimpose a grid of houses along the alley, creating a new frontage of pedestrian movement. The project works on two scales simultaneously, a city scale and a domestic scale. The alley is activated by utilizing the 4-foot setback as parklets. Pool House sets up a network of micro-landscapes to create a harmonious relationship between neighbors. The Pool House yard and alley break shared outdoor spaces into components. This will continue the grid into the yard, creating a system of connected back and front houses. Pool House, aiding in the transformation, will work with the city and the neighborhood to schedule times for garbage, delivery, and community events that these new civic spaces have the capacity to explore. Now that the system of micro-landscapes is structured along the alley, the new Pool House houses will be able to plug into a system within the community at large. The Pool House house. There are 4 housing typologies: the single unit 2-story, the 2-unit, and the micro-unit, each with its own limitation of space, creating 4 different shells. The single-family resident owner will choose the shell they want to componentize and work with Pool House to design the house to fit within the network. The house can be broken into 4x8 and 8x8 components, atomizing the house into interchangeable architectural elements. The components respond to the plan division, resulting in different arrangements of windows, doors, and other accessories. As the COVID-19 pandemic has drastically altered our current living and working environments, it has also pushed us to pursue what it means to both work and live in the same space. The space of the house can be divided into the core, which includes bathroom, kitchen, laundry, and storage, and fixed living including bedrooms and private offices, and flexible living containing living room, dining, office, and work. Within each unit, the core can shift to allow for a separation between live and work, or can be used to separate flexible and fixed living. 2-story or lofted spaces allow for the first floor to be fixed living and the second floor to be flexible living, or vice versa. Each unit is designed keeping in mind the potential of indoor-outdoor living. The back house acts not only as a space for prospective tenants to rent, but also is flexible enough for that tenant to both live and work. Through the communal amenity yard and civic components, Pool House is creating a network within the community to help each other thrive both at home and for leisure, as well as professionally and at the office.